you so much, host. And hi, everyone. Guys, I'm sorry for being late. My name is Lulu, and I'm from Maya Foundation. My topic is crypto practices in the age of AI explosion. But I come from a non-technical background, so bear with me, okay? I just wanted to share some research findings that I have, and also interesting case studies that is happening right now. And so, just probably sharing some defining moments here. Can you believe that ChatGPT 4 was released in 2023? Like, what happened in the last 2 years? Like, I can't remember, but those are like what was happening. And I won't go into details here, but I hope that you remember, right? When you first chat with ChatGPT, and also later Meta has their Llama 3, and the derivative models. Do you know how many of them? Like more than 10,000 in a year, and it's a huge win for the open source community. And also later we have a DeepSeek moment to bring the cost down by utilizing reinforcement learning to I think 10 times of the cost at least. And right now we have GPT 4.0, GPT 5 that just won the International Mathematician Olympiad, which is incredible, and we've come a long way actually. And then so what are the patterns here? So first for me it's about post-training and inference are the new leverage. Actually the true question here is what better models that we can derive actually. And then so when we think about the inference, the efficiencies, and we break down the details and we can find, for example, the magic lies in inference. And I think with DeepSeek, a lot of people are aware of that. But later, what's next? Then for inference, there's input, there's output. And for output, I think right now, how fast your models spit tokens is the key. So that's what I meant by the decodes here. And also, with today's models, there is long tags and also toolings for models to use. So you don't have to just emphasize on a huge parameters for it to work well. And then the next one is that the multimodal actually is the real deal. What does it matter? Because other than the text messages, actually we need to process a lot of other kinds of information. For example, the camera stuff and also the spatial stuff. The prime example being Tesla, right? If you want to have the autonomous driving, so you have to have a multimodality for your models. And right now we're just not there yet, right? I personally use View3 by Google to create videos for Mana, but it's just not working, and I have to use my tool later. And so, and I think the bottleneck is here for the cost for train the video generation models. For example, I think for OpenAI Sora, you need up to around 100 million to train a model, whereas for GPT 3.5, which is mostly text-based, that's about less than 10 million. And so we need to bring the cost down, and later probably we'll have a similar, for example, the Manus moments for multimodal for models. And then very interestingly, models and agents are converging. So it means that right now the models focus on agentic use and also agents ship models. And so with GPT 5, probably you can see that it's very obvious. It's not only do the traditional kind of answer your questions, but it has the ability to code and to do the multimodal thing. And so there is more, for example, the research and the coding abilities, API calls from the models, which is incredible. And so this kind of agentic use are being added to the models. And on the other hand, if you look at Cursor, right, they're developing their own models. And so the agents are doing the other way around. And so that kind of bring us to maybe the agent era, because there was one argument previously that we only need large language models and it can just do everything. But I think with Cursor and Manas, what kind of struck us is that it's not true, right? The value of the context layer and the agentic layer actually has like intrinsic value. And so we need some more like shales or like agents in specialized verticals. For example, like legal, healthcare, and there's a lot of like agents that are doing well. For example, there's team like in Harvard, they're having like Harvard AI, like focusing on healthcare and medical use cases. And so for builders and including like me here, so how to, for like app builders, like how to leverage models, well, not even buy models. That's a true question. And then before we dive into crypto practices, I wanted to just quickly mention like what is crypto. And yeah, I assume that a lot of you guys are more OG than me in this space. And so yeah, I won't go into the specific feature here, but I wanted to just my opinion or like my argument is that crypto is just as inevitable as AI. And so if you think about crypto and AI, it's just two, like both sides are just going round and round, and there will be just natural intersections. And there's many layers, and we can unpack here. And so, yeah, we just need to focus on what are the intersections. Instead of speaking of like AI and crypto, it's a scam, and it's only like speculated. It's not like that. And also the area of AI crypto changes very fast. And so here's a screenshot of AI crypto report from Delphi Digital 6 months ago. So how many tokens you still remember? Probably some, but yeah, like it changes too fast, and a lot of them are like gradually dying in this space. And if we look back, actually there are so many like experimented areas. We have like computation stuff, we have AI marketplace for models and agent, and we have the incentive layers. For example, BitTensor, right? The incentives to kind of for the miners to mine the data that can replace, for example, Twitter. And then we have agent frameworks, the AI CZZ, and we have privacy layer, and we of course have a lot of like AI agent launchpads. And so at this moment or here, I wanted to see like let's probably just forget about the past and see what's new and what's next. And so today I have like 4 areas of topics in mind to share with all of you. Hopefully it's not too overwhelming, but I basically my thought is that how to angle like my crypto AI talk is that I wanted to look into like AI itself and see where the bigger picture goes and what is the new development there, and see what is the combination from the crypto side and how that adds value. And so first is agents and agentic infra. And so for agent, the definition is software that can perceive context, learn and act, and open across multiple steps and tools with feedback loops. And feedback loops here actually is very critical because it emphasizes the nature of agents is derived from reinforcement learning. So you need to provide them like reward and incentives for them to know like what's been done right. And then so if we look at what are the like popular agents right now for everyone in this world, and so yeah, we get the names like Manas and Cursor and GenSpark, and so I think it's easy to see that the nature of those agents are focused on like cognition or like research tasks instead of others. And so, but like there is kind of some like emergent trends for example, companies like Amazon, right? They are just internally developing workflows and agents to kind of streamline the shopping services and the payment and stuff. And so that is a big one. And also there's more like consumer, like 2C agents. For example, like how to edit your photos a little bit better. And so that is kind of the general popular agents around us, and I personally use as well. But for what about crypto? So this is a little bit like different, because for crypto, I think probably most would agree with me that the primary use case here is trading and speculation. And then so that's probably where like people, the lowest hanging fruit or the biggest market for like builders in crypto to address. And so the first crypto practice for the agents I wanted to share is Surf Copilot. And so you can search on Twitter. So this one is basically the crypto version of like GPT. And so it has this terminal, it has this like chatbot where you can just ask questions, but specifically for like a crypto domain knowledge. And so here is what I asked. I asked, can I still buy bunk? And I feel like that pump is doing a greater job. And so can you probably summarize for me the community sentiment and predict the prices for me? And so I think very quickly it kind of applies the like chain of thought that where we see on DeepSeek or like Grok and ChatGPT. And so from the left side, you can see that there is a lot of like sections of information emerged. And if I wanted to see like how the information is derived, I can check the like the thought process, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, I just got the invite code, and so I haven't really tried like everything. But there are some other notable features from this product. Is that okay? You can try just form a research report real quick, like instantly here, and also it kind of allows you to do the execution. For example, swaps in this key session. Yeah, and so. With that, I think probably is the coolest one that I can't wait to try it out myself, because I think the intent-based like DeFi activities has been around many people for a long time, and so with that, actually a lot of like DeFi projects are just work specifically on that. For example, Symphony. And so it says that it's the first agentic financial layer, but what it actually is for me, like from a product standpoint, is like a perp aggregator. So it has this like chatbot here where we're familiar with. And I asked it, I wanted to open short for World Liquidify, and with $1,000. And then it comes with other prompts and asks me, okay, what about the leverage? And do you want to have the stop loss functions there? And can I set that? And so, yeah, I think this is the most kind of convenient like aggregator powered by AI that I've tried. And so, yeah, there's one like unified interface, and I don't have to worry about like liquidities or like the cost or like gas or like wallet setup, right? On multiple chains, and it can just solve for me. And so I think the level of abstraction and also the intelligence of the AI here to do the analytics and to see what is the best route is actually, yeah, pretty amazing to me. And so, yeah, the Symphony team, they're from like MetaMask and Kraken, and they'll be on Monad mainnet day one. And another AI use for DeFi here, it's another like DEX called Capricorn on Monad. And so what this team does is that, have you ever wondered why there hasn't been like an on-chain NASDAQ yet? Why? And so one bottleneck is actually market makers. It's hard for market makers to bring a lot of liquidity on chain because there is like toxic order flows. Because there's bots, there's like insider trades, and how to prevent that, right? And so actually Capricorn team has this like internal in-house proprietary like AI model where they can analyze the order flow nature. For example, it will be very sensitive to see what is the trades information. For example, is it volatile? Like your trading pair, like is that volatile? And what is the timing? Is this suspicious? And also it will look into the wallet history, the information. Has you done anything bad in the past, basically? And so with that, it can just successfully segment the order flows as into like clean ones and toxic ones. And for clean ones, they can just route to their dexes. And that would ensure like a tighter spin for market makers, so they can earn more money, and other users will not be harmed or like get hurt by toxic order flows. And for the toxic order flows, what to do with it is that probably it can be routed to like AMMs, where liquidity is more like resilient, and they can just pay higher fees for that. And also this one is interesting. It's called like New Morai. I don't know how to pronounce it, but basically this is the quant fund. So for quant fund, you used to have like a very important like in-house model for you to kind of predict the market. That's basically the value of the quant fund. But instead, right now, this protocol, this project invites the quants from all of the world just submit their models like from everywhere. So for each week, they receive submissions of those models more than 1,000. And so with that information, they kind of aggregate it to form a meta model to predict the market. And guess what? And so they have achieved a pretty good AUM, and JP Morgan Asset Management just committed like 500 million in that. And so I think that's a huge kind of like validation for this type of new AI-powered quant fund will proceed in the future. And also, like, prediction market is something I wanted to mention. Because, like, with this year, like, Polymarket is actually a big headline. And it is kind of the spotlight. And, you know, next year we have the World Cup. And it would just spur a competition and a lot of, like, building in the prediction market space. And actually, like, after several months of Mana testnet, we are seeing a lot of like builders are building like a new prediction market in this area. They either probably on the based on Polymarket, they are addressing the liquidity issues, and they are doing like AI oracles. And for this project Buzzing, the things that they are experimenting is to use AI for creators, for users to create their own market. For example, like I recently speculate a lot about Ethereum prices, and I probably can just spin up my own market and say, will Ethereum price hit 5,000 within this month? And then what needs to be done for that market to be spun up? So it needs to see like, like what are the rules, right? Like within this month, what does it mean? What exact time is that? And hit 5,000, and what is the like oracle or the like data source for that, right? And so, but all of that could be streamlined by AI, right? And so it's very interesting that this team has background in Kuaishou. And if you think about it, Polymarket itself is a media, but with stake and bet, right? But what kind of like Kuaishou and TikTok did in the past is to transform media to like UGC, and later it has this like AI recommendation algorithm that changed the media entirely. And so if we look into like the current prediction market right now and see what those teams are doing with AI, it's quite interesting to kind of expect what's to come next year and onward. And so, yeah, those are the agents specifically for, I think, like trading and DeFi. And so now we look at like Agentic infra because I think from here we start to probably like realize we'll need to like work with agents, but agents are unlike humans. And so, yeah, it does not rest. And it does not need a front end. And it always does parallel execution. And it really relies heavily on reward and feedback loops to like get informed about like whether they're right or wrong. And so in that sense, all software can be redone, like for agents. And so that's a huge market opportunity. And so yeah, what has people done like in Web2 for agents? So first of all is MCP, right, by Anthropic, and then right now, agents can just interact with each other, yeah, and do stuff with like and have this API calls by like a unified standard. That's pretty much, I think, the URC token, like a token standard for just 1,000 different like tags tokens in this world. And so, also very interesting product is AI browsers because. I think this year a lot of like great products has caught like investors and markets eye, and it kind of changed how like agents did like browsing for us. Like I said, is that they do not need like an interface, and they could just execute while they were doing like browsing for humans. And so. Yeah, and from crypto side, we actually have a lot of infrastructure, agentic infrastructure as well. And so I think from last cycle, we have this like TEE, where we can have this verifiable like environment for agents. And we have like a virtual protocol, we have AI 16Z, and a lot of like agent frameworks for us to kind of spin up like something to use for our users. And also, there's some new stuff coming out recently. I think it's quite interesting. For example, recall. So what is recall? So basically, it's a community-driven benchmarks. So benchmarks to me is just like tests or exams for models, right? And then I think in the past we just used the universal benchmarks for all models, and we realized that that's just it, and they have like great benchmarks, and that's it. But with that, we lack the opportunities to find like more diversified or new great models. And so if we can change how we do like the benchmarks and do tests for those models, we probably can find new things. And that's why like a recall come in, and I think all the users and community members, we can propose like new. We can propose like new metrics and new benchmarks there, and for us to just find better models in like various dimensions. And so yeah, for like crypto, we have like AI browsers as well. Yeah, I put here like 2 examples. There's like Dona, there's Moss. Yeah, I think there are some like similarities and different distinctions. For example, if you use like a wallet browser, you realize the cursor hovering right now is really popular, right? And you get that a lot from like OKX wallet, and it has the buttons. Oh, do you want to see the K chart, and whatnot? And so. Yeah, that is also like happening to the crypto space, but I think the difference here is that it kind of connects to the more the types of services or APIs that it uses is mostly for wallet, and it facilitates like trading decisions, and so that's very specific and relevant to us. And now, after like we talk a little bit about like agents and it seems like that we're going to have like more agents in the future, and that kind of bring us to the like multi-agent era, and agents will take over, and later it is us humans serve agents instead of the other way around. And so for that to happen, and we have this very like integrated like agent economy, there's like a couple questions asked. For example, should agents have their own identities? And do they need phone numbers to receive text messages? Or how to handle scenarios where an agent dies? And yeah, I think for those questions, actually, crypto adds a very valuable and natural solutions to it, because it is a blockchain is permissionless and is distributed. And for example, AI recently just launched their testnet and announced their fundraise that specifically provides this like agent solutions. And what solutions are there? So first of all, agent needs like identity. And this identity is not only, for example, like a wallet address, but it needs to show, for example, who created this agent and what type of authority level we allow for this agent to act, and how much they get to spend. So those are like different layers of like of authorization identity for agents, and also. And also, we need this like attribution and monitoring system, right? Like what they have done. And for like on-chain environment, that's favorable for us to do the record. And also, I think finally, the bottleneck for the payment side. So we used a lot of like payment solutions in Web2 world, and every time the last step is to ask for permission by, for example, Stripe, right? And they have to kind of allow us to do the transactions, and that probably just don't make like payment rails. And that's probably the reason why actually PayPal Ventures led the 18 million round for AI. And Stripe, they're both, and many other like payment-related companies are exploring this rail. And then, let me see how much more I have here. Okay, oh, sorry. So the next topic here is about compute and inference. Yeah, I think because if we're going to talk about agents, one pattern that we can see here is the token assumption really surged. So guess what happens if one person starts to use AI or ChatGPT? So the pattern is they start to use much more. And so we can see the token surge. And if you are smart enough and sensitive, you know that NVIDIA and infra layer for AI is going to do great on stock market. And that's what exactly happened to, for example, AMD and Hangwuqi. And then, so what's next? Like, what could be the next trend here if that's already happened, and with this like huge demand for token assumption? So the answer lies with the inference, like I probably already mentioned in the first part of my my topic. And so yeah, we need like better alternatives for inference, and I mentioned like decoding is very key for inference to bring the cost down. And actually, it's I think a coordination problem for the algorithm and the infra and the data to work together. And also, I think the subject that we're tackling is, for example, like the multimodal inference for us to do the optimization. And so, what is the crypto practices here? And so, actually, I think because like we are distributed system in nature, that actually provides a good solution to this problem as well. So there is a project called 42 on Mana testnet. And so what it does is to do the swarm inference. So what does it mean by swarm inference? The concept is that bunch of models are going to work together is going to be smarter than a centralized model. That's it. And then so they also like run the models on the edge devices, for example, your laptop or your phones or whatnot, and to further bring the cost down. And then I think recently they have this benchmark on human evaluation to test the code generation capability, and you see that 42 is here, so which is a pretty good, I think, position in all of the like other competitors. You can see the OpenAI and Anthropic other models here. And so, if I remember correctly, so the inference cost is more than 10 times down and 3 times faster. And so, yeah, maybe it could work. And it's already a Mana testnet, and after a minute we can see more closely. And I also attached the like dashboard here. You see that it's already working. There's more than 600 nodes there, and I think there is around 26K like inferences like made daily. It's not bad. And then finally, let's talk about the data and hardware for agents. Yeah, I think they are separate topics to start off. And for data, it became the I think the central topic for a lot of people for a while because you know, like after Meta, Llama 3 kind of is kind of like lagging behind, and so they spent money to just bought the 49% share of Scale AI, right? And so it was like a big news, and it also manifests that like how important data is for those like model companies. And after that, what happened is that a lot of people start to questioning like whether this deal is reasonable, because probably some people find that not all the like labeled data are good to use, for example, and instead they even though they made the shares purchase, they turn to like Search AI or other competitors for data. And why is that? And what is the reasons behind? It is because our demand for data is not about like how large the data set is, but actually the quality, and specifically the domain-specific knowledge that has. And so that is probably like why Search AI is invested. Like they hired a lot of PhDs, and they know a lot of like domain expertise and knowledge to in hope to kind of help out on that front to have the best quality data sets for models. And then yeah, that's for the data, and also for like hardware, we have like robotics and consumer products. And for example, a lot of people are holding like high expectations for Tesla because of its like robotics company Optimus, but it's a little bit hard, and people find that yeah, the factory is running, but the robots built there probably is not like production ready. But still, like embodied AI become a buzzword, and probably it's the next future. And on the consumer front, yeah, there's like AI voice recorders. You can't imagine how many were sold last year, and also the AI smart AI smart glasses breakouts by a lot of Xiaomi and Meta Ray-Ban. And so I think if we look at data and hardware, what's special about crypto is that we have different sectors to kind of combine them together and to create this flywheel. And how did that happen, and does it really work? Because yeah, a lot of like different projects, we have experienced so many, that bought so many tokens, but a lot of them just went down zero. But in fact, I think there are a lot of like interesting projects worth following and studying. For example, Reborn. So what is Reborn? So to me, Reborn is this robotics factory company. So they do not build robotics themselves, but instead they provide models and also like softwares. for the robotics companies to use. Because why robots need models? Because they want to be smart and they want to perform very complicated tasks that can help out humans, right? And so with that, you need actually pretty good models for those robots to kind of gain intelligence there. And so that's what Reborn is doing. And so, for example, they're working with unit tree, right? And so they provide, I think, first of all, one model that they made, I can't remember the name. It's something like NMF or anything. And then they also have this, for example, like a simulation software for them to just deploy and to do testing and stuff. And so the models could be successfully kind of run on the robots. And then, so with that, also the data front is very important to create this flywheel. And so what Reborn does is that a lot of community members will just contribute their data. I think right now there's more than 200,000 of them. And I think, personally, I think it's the demand of those robots are so high, and so it is really, it makes sense for the users, and it creates this incentive for them to participate. And so, yeah, I think it works pretty well right now for Reborn. They're working with not only like a unit tree, but NVIDIA, Intel, and a lot of like AI companies that has the robot business. And also, for AI glasses, that kind of is the same, but I think what is unique about AI glasses is that we talked about how autonomous driving can be like huge, right? And so what is the best data for that? The POV data from glasses is actually very valuable. And also, it's something that we wear every day, and so it creates this tremendous advantage to get context for each individual that wears them. And so also like one last question that is on my mind for a long time is if you think about how you use AI glasses, you do not need a front end anymore. So you used to use a lot of apps on your phone, right? But right now with your glasses, probably it would change fundamentally, and you just call the services. It's either Web2 or Web3, and then the front end is gone. And so what that probably could imply for all of us here, if we wanted to become part of the, for example, agent system for those like AI glasses companies. And I don't know that answer. But I will keep working with a real team, and this team is going to be on Monet mainnet. It's just like, for example, Solana has like Seeker phone and necklaces and a lot of like different projects. And so yeah, this team is consisted of people from Huawei hardware and also Apple. And so I'm really looking forward to see like how they're going to bring like AI glasses to crypto and beyond. Yeah, so yeah, that's everything that I have. Thank you so much.